Monday Live. Let's see who's going to be the first one. I wish I could see their names that were live in there. Wouldn't that?
You
I know
used
that
to
would
be able to
distract-
get that kind of data.
Yeah, that's right. Apple ruined it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least it would be good if you could see it on X. It would be like who was tuned in and watching. That's not. I don't need their email. It would just be
right
good to do it. So okay, great. Let's see here. Okay, great. Business Brain. Why didn't it come up on my feed?
Oh, did I not?
Or maybe it did. Oh yeah, it did. No.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, good.
It's always possible. I just screwed it up.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Nope. Very good. Thanks for checking in. If you're joining the live stream now, we're getting ready to record a couple episodes of the Business Brain podcast. We have some interesting topics, one of which I know nothing about, which is great. I always love coming in here, learning a lot. A couple of things I do know about, and the first episode we're going to record is our 10th year.
it's our 10th anniversary.
10th anniversary. 10
Wednesday
years.
marks exactly 10 years since we released our first episode.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about lessons that we've learned over the time, just briefly. And, and then I want to talk about something else, something related to something else. Yeah,
fun.
That'll be great. Yeah.
I'm having those audio
clicking. I heard it a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. I kind of do. Yeah, it's getting worse.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've talked to the. Oh yeah, that's getting fun. Oh, I like that.
That's crazy.
Great.
Yes.
Now let's see if this. Well, I'm not going to use the word resolves, but ends it temporarily.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right. Hey. Did that end it temporarily? Oh man, that's a lot of lag. Let me put that.
I don't hear the
lungs. There we go. Okay.
It's good.
Well, for now it is. Yeah.
For now, good.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. I could go whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm just looking to make
playing.
sure that I think it's that. I think it's that, and maybe there's a fix for this. Yeah, it all started when I started messing with continuity camera on this computer when I enabled.
Oh, I see. Did you ever get one of those Link 360 cameras?
Not yet, but they may wind up sponsoring our shows.
I saw them on the sponsor list, and I
I put them
enthusiastically that I've used one for every show.
I put them in cool stuff found on Mac Geek Gab and credited you for suggesting it, and then of course did what I always do, which is to send notes out to people and let them know we mentioned it.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
It's a little bit grunt work-ish, and I haven't yet figured out the right way to delegate that out. But, realistically, it takes me 30 minutes a week to do it for all three of my shows. This one and the other two.
Bad.
No, and I get to, and this is why, it's the control freak in me, right? Yeah. I get to know exactly who's getting what and craft the message and
that's it. I was trying to think automating that, how you would, but you're going to lose.
It's semi-automated.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure you have a template kind of thing, and then you customize it.
I do it all from our FileMaker database.
Yes, perfect.
But
yes, it still takes time, and but you lose that Daveness if you completely automate it. And that Daveness is valuable.
I'm aware of this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I do a lot of this semi-automated kind of stuff because I feel like that my personality is part of my success. And my attention is part of my success. And so I don't want to, I feel like, we could talk about this on the show, but if I fully automated I would be way less in touch with my business.
Yes.
Maybe it would be, no maybe about it. It would be more efficient, but I don't know how more successful
Yeah, it's that 80-20 rule.
Yeah. So
yep.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting concept.
I know it's hard.
We should talk about. I'm going to make that a top. We're not talking about that this week, but I'm going to add over automating, losing the Daveness. All right, that's good.
Yeah, with either automation or delegation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I got that on my list too. Okay,
perfect.
Great.
I think that's a good thing to discuss in the future. You said we got a couple more reviews. Should we read those?
We will 100% read those first.
Fantastic, because if you leave a review for the show, if you listen, we really
we'll talk about this in the show.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the show.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. All right, great. There we are, 6:24. Everything's where it needs to be. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Business Brain, episode 624 for Wednesday, February 19th. That's National Prevent Plagiarism Day and our 10th anniversary of releasing our first episode. Woohoo, 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, we crunch them, we dissect them, we use them to tune our business brains so that we each have better tools and are therefore better equipped to keep on living those charmed lives that we value so highly. Shopify.com/businessbrain is our sponsor. That's where you go to get a $1 per month trial period. We'll talk more about all of that in a little bit. For now, here, celebrating in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
I'm celebrating out here in California, Dave.
Amazing.
Shannon, Jean, congratulations on 10 years of recording this podcast. That's amazing.
It is. Our bullheaded persistence has led to consistency and 10 years in the rearview mirror.
That brings up a good point. Like, that consistency is really hard. And I don't say that just to we did it and it's great, but I today we're recording this on a Monday, and we record both episodes here at Mondays now. And this morning has just been one barrier to another, after another.
Same.
Trying to get things going, and it's just and then I had to run down and solve a problem, computer, issue at the house. It's my gosh.
I had to snow blow 3 times, and that's the second time was because our plow guy effed us.
Nice.
Sort of, and then showed up right after I did it the second time so I could get my car out, which was fun. And we were getting our car out to drive to the vet, to most likely, and then of course we wound up, putting our dog down today, which sucks.
That's the worst. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
And thank you. And it sucks. It is the greatest. It is the greatest gift that we get to give to our pets, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah,
at the right time.
At the right time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. But I did that, and then it's I could certainly text Shannon and punt on the day. And here we are.
Dude.
It's that consistency.
And I would say we were starting to talk. I said, hey, let's talk about lessons over the 10 years. And that is the lesson for me, is consistency. And also, I feel like this business, because it is a business, it's one of the most challenging for me to get feedback, to get empirical feedback of success, right? What are the indicators? I know if my business is shipping products, how many products a day do I ship?
Yep.
What's my revenue look like? I know that if I'm trying to connect with people online, what's my engagement like? What's my follower ratio? All that kind of stuff, right? Because and this show, we do have that revenue number, which I like, which is great, but it's
not a 1-to-1.
No, it's not. It's challenging, right. And so that consistency, and I don't know that if I was recording this show by myself, if I ever would have made it.
Same.
I'm going to be really honest here.
Same. Totally. You have to. I'm essentially doing a show by myself now, sort of, with Gig Gab.
Yeah.
However, every episode, generally, there are occasional episodes that I do on my own, but every episode I have a guest, which means that prior to the day of release, it could be 2 weeks prior, it could be 2 hours prior, but prior to the day of release, I have an appointment with someone else that if I make that appointment, and all the technology gods smile upon me, he says as he checks to make sure it's recording, then I have an episode to release, right? And I have to look someone else straight in the face, or virtually, and say, I am canceling this, just like I would have had to do that with you today. Which I didn't. It crossed my mind, but not really. Because it's then when am I going to?
Yes.
Then when am I going to do it?
It's not like you can stop. You have to. Okay, now how do I fit it into my?
But that right? I think that is the key to consistency. Not necessarily just the act of doing it, but the act of knowing it will be done.
Yes.
And you need to be part of it.
Yes.
That's the key. And this did not dawn on me until we started talking here, Shannon, but on the 10th anniversary of Mac Geek Gab, which would have been in June of 2015, I was invited to speak in Boston. It just so happened that day was a Saturday. I was invited to speak in Boston at a podcast, meetup, conference, whatever you want to call it. And so I did 10 lessons learned from 10 years of podcasting.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I had forgotten about this. And this is in no particular order. Listen to your own show.
Oh, I have a hard time with that one. But yes, you're right.
I know. I know I'm right. I do this regularly, but not consistently.
I actually enjoyed one of the best times I ever had. I was driving. This is just a little segue. I was driving to go to the Duck Club to hunt, and I turned on our show, and I turned the speed down to half volume.
Half speed?
Half speed.
Oh.
And it sounded really funny. And it was, and I listened, and it sounded like we were stoned out of our mind.
I bet.
And I listened, and I was like, this is really good. Because everybody always talked about, do it at 1.4 or whatever, 1.2 to get things done quick. And, and I, like I said, I have listened to the show a lot. But that episode, I was like, it was like, Dave was like, wow, man. It was so great.
That's awesome.
I laughed my ass off in the car, and I maybe even texted you at the time. This was
I think I remember this. Yeah,
how many years ago I did it, but yeah, listening to your own show is good. I have the same problem with it as watching myself record here on the live stream.
Yeah.
I don't. It's like, well, whatever. And sometimes I'm just like, well, I just put something over it. I don't really care. Now I'm used to it. I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't
but
matter.
you just get used to it. And I agree. You should listen to your own stuff.
Listen, I'm gonna read through all of these, and we can pick apart any of them. We can come back to any that we want. So listen to your own shows. Number 1, schedules matter. Number 2, know your roles. Number 3, number 4 is communicate with your co-hosts and guests. Learn how to interact with each other and notify each other. The systems get some of that down. Sound quality matters. It does. One that I didn't put in there, but actually comes back around, was respect your audience, but that was not number 6. Number 6 was refine your advertising reads, which of course we've done.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if you folks, well, I'll circle back, but we use ChatGPT to write our ad scripts. Master your own domain. This is something we did here from day one, and that is do not host your podcast or your feed on a domain that you do not own. If your feed is even, and I love the folks at Libsyn, but if you are letting Libsyn manage your feed, if something happens to Libsyn, something happens to your show.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, I love them. They're a great example. They're a terrible example because I don't want to tell people to move away. You shouldn't move your hosting away from them necessarily. Just let them generate your feed, but host it at your domain.
Yeah, I agree.
Another thing that I did not put in there was 2 minutes is a long time.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Number 8 was shout from the rooftops. Tell everyone about your show. It's not natural for most of us to be predisposed to, talking into a microphone, let alone talking about ourselves, talking into a microphone.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But you got to, and this is one I need to remind myself of all the time. And then number 9 was love the haters. If somebody doesn't like your show and tells you they don't like your show, that's flattering.
Yeah, that's good feedback.
Yeah. And then, of course, because it was 10 years of Mac Geek Gab, lesson number 10 was don't get caught, because that's our catchphrase over there. We talk about the charmed life here.
Nice.
Over there, it's don't get caught. But don't get caught in a rut. Reinvent yourself and your show as often as you want to.
I love it.
Stay with the times. So
yeah, we've done that here. We've changed the name,
absolutely.
we've changed the format, we've changed over and over and over and over and over. And it keeps it engaging for us, which is really important. I would add one thing to that list that for me is that to shut up, to be quiet. I had a hard time in the beginning being quiet, especially when even when we had guests. I would want to interject and talk, because it, like in a conversation, you're back and forth. But here, I need to just close my mouth, and I think I've gotten much better at it, and just listening.
I think you have too. I think I have too, but I'm not. I fail at it all the time.
Oh, so do I. Of course. Yeah, but I would add that, and that is definitely a learned skill. Not feeling the urge to fill silence.
Silence is okay.
Yeah. And it, especially if you're making a point, or you have a guest on that's making a point, that kind of thing, or your co-host is making a point. So, but yeah, it's definitely the consistency and the grind. And I would say it's helped me in all my other business ventures as well, because I've understand better, this show has a deep foundation of value. If somebody were to go data mine the 623 episodes we already have recorded, and I would love to do that.
Yeah, I want to be the ones to do that, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I would love to have, the AI do it for us and create a, this massive volume of value. It's amazing. And it's, like I said, it's helped me tremendously in all other aspects.
All right, folks, if you're grinding to build your business, you need our sponsor, Shopify, in your corner. I use Shopify for my other businesses and one of my other podcasts, and candidly, it's the MVP of selling online. I'm talking seamless setup, built-in payment processing, and the kind of automation that lets you focus on growing, not just managing. It doesn't matter if you're selling merch, memberships, or a revolutionary new product. Shopify handles it all, from checkout to shipping, with the best conversion tools in the game. And Shop Pay, it's like a secret weapon, turning window shoppers into paying customers up to 50% more often. That means more ka-ching moments. You got that right. If Shopify could do my taxes, I'd probably let it. But for now, it just runs my businesses flawlessly. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that I use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. Shannon, I know you want to talk about reviews. You have some things to talk about. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is talk about the reviews that came in for our show in the last week.
Nice.
Because we got 2 of them.
I love that.
Which is double what I think we've ever gotten in any other week. So
reviews are tough to get. It's tough to get folks to stop for 25 or 28 seconds and leave a review.
Yeah. So well, that was weird. Remember, if your review is read on the show, which there are about to be 2, send us an email to feedback@businessbrain.show to let us know that your review was read on the show. We don't get information about your email address or anything like that, but we want to enter you into a contest for a MacBook this year. So the first one comes from Derek Kolstad in the United States. 5 stars. Smart and funny. One of the best business podcasts. Both hosts are super funny, relatable, and insightful with business. Glad I discovered this gem.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is.
Thank
the
you,
second
sir.
one, go ahead. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Derek. The second one comes from Greg Church, PhD, also in the United States. 5 stars. Must listen for business owners. This podcast is a must listen for every small business owner. It helps provide business therapy to overcome challenges and help motivate us to improve. I like the variety of topics that are covered and look forward to listening twice per week. As a listener, you feel like you get to know the hosts, Shannon and Dave, personally, and I appreciate their laid-back, informal conversations. I like the occasional guest and appreciate the responsiveness to feedback. I look forward to listening for many years to come. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Greg Church, PhD.
Yeah,
this is amazing.
Very much. That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's sweet.
That's amazing.
Yeah, make sure both of you guys email feedback at businessbrain.show so we can get you in the running for that MacBook. That's great.
And everybody else, make sure to visit businessbrain.show/review. That is where you can go to review the show. If you have reviewed the show in the past but want to be part of this competition, you can go and update your review if it's more than 6 months old, and it will be treated as a new one, and we will get notifications and all of those things. So you get to double dip. In fact, if you haven't reviewed the show, there is still time to be able to do that twice this year and get yourself 2 tickets on the list.
And I guarantee you this will be the odds of winning.
Oh, the odds
are going to be great. Yeah,
one in what, maybe 100 at this point is what it's on track to be.
Let's say 1 in 100. Yeah, so that's pretty darn good.
It's pretty good. But I would like to get 200 reviews this year.
I would like to get 200 as well.
So maybe you could be one of 200 folks.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Love it.
That is a good idea. But Dave, okay, so speaking of reviews, you can't really see this card, but I have posted it on X if you go to @ShannonGene. We'll put the link in the show notes as well.
Sure.
But I had well, let me set this up. I'm a big fan of home warranties. Okay. Lots of people hate them. I love them. My wife is really good at managing it. She manages our real estate, and we have warranties on all of our vacation rentals and our personal house. It's fantastic. Yes,
we're getting into I believe Lisa and I are getting into the vacation rental business. So there might be some episodes where I pick your brain on things, and this reminds me that you need to be a resource for that. Anyway,
so there's pros and cons with everything else, but in the overall scheme of things, we are way up on the cost and everything of having a home warranty at each of these houses.
Great.
So at my house where I live, we had our washing machine died. Very common. Yep. And guys came out and said, I don't think it's repairable. I said, well, whatever. Okay. So turns it into the home warranty place. They come out. We're going to give you a replacement. If you approve this replacement, it's okay. It was a little different than the model we had, but okay, no problem. Fine. Set it up through Lowe's, and Lowe's delivered it. They would have delivered it the next day, which was amazing. Wow. I was impressed.
Lowe's is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. And so we couldn't do it, so they came out on Monday. They do the setup. I live on a very, very steep driveway up on top of a hill.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to shovel snow on that.
No, thanks, we don't snow. But deliveries are always an issue here. These guys had to manually bring this washing machine up my driveway because they could not get the giant honking truck up the steep driveway. It won't come. When you go up like this, it grinds or anything. So no matter how many times you tell them to bring the small truck, they never do it. So these guys hand truck this thing up my driveway and do the install, take this thing back down the driveway, everything. Really great. Tipped them really well because they literally busted their back coming up the hill. They hand me this card and says, hey, here it is on the live stream. You can see it. Give the delivery team a 10, it says. And on one side, there's a rectangle that says, to us, these are a 0. And the numbers 0 through 8. It says, to us, these are a 0. And on the right of that, there's a small square box that says positive 9 or 10. And two things. I immediately went and gave the guys a 10 because they did a great job. And,
of course, which you probably would have anyway.
Anyway.
You didn't need to be led down this path.
Yes. And I get the whole idea that, like, I really like the customer service card or thing. On one side, it says, hey, if you had a positive experience, you're happy, go here, leave a review. And on the other side, it shows us, if you're not happy, go here. And it takes you right to their customer service place, right? Which I thought that's clever. And I like that. This thing, I was like, this is the world we live in where anything below a 9, or let's just say anything below 5 stars, like if you're if you're a super host on Airbnb or whatever, anything below 5 stars, failure.
Uber ratings, all of it, 5 stars. Podcast ratings, definitely. Anything less than 5 stars, folks.
And that's crazy. And that is crazy.
It is I've watched this happen. I remember at Mac Observer when we were doing reviews, and we watched it happen to ourselves. We had a 5-star rating, and suddenly we were like, well, why would we bother to put, to waste an article slot? Like, we had a fixed number of articles that we could write as a staff, like all those things. Why would we waste an article slot on something that's not a 5? I was like, oh, that's interesting. So now like, and I joked in that time, and I joked about it today too, that, the value of each number on the scale is not equal, right? Which is what you're saying. Like, we've gone from a linear scale where it gets from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to it's logarithmic, right? Where it's exponential. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then suddenly it sharpens up and goes 4 and 5. And no one cares about anything that's 1, 2, or 3. And I get it, because we're all reviewing things with this idea in mind.
Yeah.
And at Mac Observer, we rewrote our reviews scale to kind of get away from this. We wrote our own levels of things, and so it wasn't. It's because we wanted to be able to review things that were amazing, but also things that were like functional pieces of gear or software that's good. Like a 3. There's software that I use that I wouldn't give a 5 to, but it is like Text Expander, right? Yes. Great piece of software. I rely on that functionality so the functionality of it, I would give a 5. It is installed on every computer I have, and I don't want to live in a world without it. But there's things I would fix about it. So I would say it's like a 3.5. Yeah. Like, it's not great. It's a little quirky sometimes, but I don't want to not run it. Like, but if I tell people, if I post it on, we don't have the site anymore. But if I said, that's a 3, people be like, oh, Dave says it's a 3. Don't buy it. Wait, that's not what I meant.
Yes, I use Grammarly. I love it. Like you, I don't know that I would want to ever live without it. It freed me from worrying about issues of writing. But there's things about it that drive me nuts. I would not give it a 5-star or a 10 or whatever.
Right, or whatever. Scale. Right. It's not going to get the top mark.
Yeah, this is pros and cons. That makes the review better, because if as somebody who's looking at it, you're like, oh, okay, it's not perfect. It's got these things which they love. And these things are little things that you can be prepared to feel, oh, okay, it's going to have this thing, whatever.
It's going to have these quirks, but it's worth it anyway.
Yes.
Because nothing, very, very few things should rate a 5.
Yes. Correct. And
in fact, when we were doing the 5, I haven't thought about this in a long time. When we were doing the 5-star system at TMO, if you wanted to rate something a 5, you needed to convince a majority of the staff to agree with you.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only way we would give a 5.
It's perfection. It's perfection.
That's the thing. If you're doing 100 reviews of the year over the course of a year, and 50% of them are 5s, what worth is that scale?
It's not.
And I tell you what the scale is worth. It's worth 0.
Yeah, that's it. It's like grade inflation if you have kids and you're like, oh, I want to go to that school because every kid gets A's. Well, there's a reason why every kid gets A's is because they're in business, basically, and they want to attract more students.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. It's like, well, if every review has to be perfect, what happens is people are like, well, I'm just not going to leave a review.
Right.
And then you don't get that good feedback. And it's, like, I think Amazon has done a good job. At least you look at it. It's like, 3.5 stars. What is it? Or 4 stars. Okay, that's interesting. So at least you still drill down and look at it. Now, but if you're a small business owner selling somewhere or in service somewhere, if you're getting started and you get a 3 or even a 4-star review, it's problematic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, I know.
So I'd love to know, how do you do it with your business? You're getting Google reviews. Are you asking for 5 stars? How do you do it? How do you figure it out? I mean, I want the review. Obviously, I want the 5 stars, but how do you work it? Feedback at businessbrain.show. I'd love to hear.
And how do we fix this? Can we fix this? There is a problem here.
I agree.
Maybe we have 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, and then we just get get rid of the 5 point, and we just do
6 stars.
Now
clearly that's the answer.
Add another star. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Come up with a better idea than us, or maybe it just needs to be an additional idea. We'll talk about that Friday. Have a good week. Until then, we'll see you. Keep living that charmed life. All right. And we are between episodes. That was a perfect little tease of Friday.
It was. That's good. That's good. So, yeah, if you're watching the live stream, we're getting in between episodes here as Dave massages the software. Just little tricks. And then after he's done later in the show, and we're going to talk about this workflow on our AI session. So we do a Friday Eye topic that we'll talk about our use of AI for the week and things we're doing with it. And then we're also going to talk about just what Dave discussed, how everything doesn't have to be better.
No.
And we're also going to talk about the workflow for the podcast, because I have I want to see if I'm doing something backwards, and I'm curious if there's a better
workflow for the podcast. I thought I did all the things. No, I guess I didn't do the things. Okay. All right, it's fine. Okay. I know how to do this.
Yeah, I've done this before. Quick, so yeah, one of the most. I'll just chat for the interesting ad I saw the other day coming across my feed was a low-cost poop scooper service, and I did not know that people were in that business of coming to your house.
Come to your house and scoop your poop.
Scoop the poop. I'm assuming it's just for dogs. But I don't want to make an assumption. You never know. I can speculate that it's just for dogs. But
I would imagine that to be the case.
Yeah, but I'm not. That's interesting. It's called the Pet Butler. So if you're listening and you're in the pooper scooper business, I would like to learn more.
And if you're in that business, I have a piece of advice for you, because and I'm hearing my sound crackle, which I need to fix. But I was thinking about this today. When the snow thaws, we're going to have to, as we do every year, poop or scoop our yard. And that will be very difficult this year compared to years past, because we will be scooping the poop that our dog left behind, a month and a half before. It'll be tough. So if you're... the power's flickering. It's like we had a snowstorm. There's wind. It's crazy.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
If you're in the pooper scooper business, giving a discount or offering something to people who are in this boat, most of us will have another dog someday.
Yeah.
And even if not, we would sing the praises. What a great way to be, take the human element, et cetera, et cetera.
That's a great idea. Matter of fact, the vet should offer it as a free part of the service. Listen, we're going to take care of this for you. We know it's very emotional. One of the things we offer
a coupon. Yep.
A pet butler coupon is going to come to your house and clean up once the snow melts or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So you don't have to do it and cry the whole time. So that your pet has, passport.
Yes.
Yeah. See? Always thinking.
Yes.
Always thinking.
This is the thing about having a business brain.
Can't turn off my business brain. That's for sure.
No.
Yes.
All right. I'm almost there.
No problem.
I had to do some. It's weird that I didn't.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's weird. You're talking about workflow. It's strange that I did the parts that I did and not all of them. I rarely stop the workflow.
Yeah. Got it.
But I did this time. It's fine.
It happens. It happens.
Oh, yeah.
10 years,
Yeah, you get it wrong every now and then.
10 years. Yeah, so once in a while, things can go sideways.
I think I'm done. So now I need to go and kill that and come here and do the thing that now has gotten even worse. Hang on.
Crack, crack, crackle. Snap, crackle, pop.
Right. And it's gone for now. I really wish I understood what was causing it.
That's interesting.
Because it's new. That's the frustrating thing.
Yeah.
I say that nothing has changed about my setup since this started in December, I want to say. But clearly something has changed.
Yeah. Did you hear it on your other shows as well?
Oh, yeah. But it's weird. It's only my audio.
Interesting. So it doesn't come out in the recording?
I don't hear it when it's just me.
Oh, I hear it.
Of course.
But
I know.
But not on the recording.
No, it comes in the portion from me comes into the recording.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, where in the chain? Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah,
I probably need to do a firmware reset on my audio interface. That would be the next thing to try. All right. I'm not going to do that right now. Yeah. All right. Then it is time to do. I know what to do. I've done this before. Last part of the process is to just make sure I know where I am while we're recording. And now I will. All right. Let's make the magic happen.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Business Brain, episode 625 for Casual Friday, February 21st, National Sticky Bun Day 2025. Woo! Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, a show where we take some ideas, some of yours, some of ours, we mix them together, we make a stew, and then we inhale the vapors of that stew while pondering on the ideas so that we can tune our business brains to keep on living those charmed lives that we love so much. Shopify.com/businessbrain has been part of the key to my charmed life, and it is the place where you can go to sign up for a $1 per month trial period. We will talk more about them. They are our sponsor this week. We'll talk more about them a little later. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
In Lafayette, California, I'm Shannon Jean. I love stew, Dave, and I love Shopify.
Same. Yeah,
awesome.
It's a good stew.
Stew on a cold winter day.
Ooh, I have an idea to stew on here, Shannon.
Yes,
it's
good segue.
Fairly raw in that it's only been in my brain for a couple hours. We always need reasons. I have a list that we call our RFC list, our reasons for contact, things to talk about with all of our sponsors and agency partners and all that, just to keep at the top of their inbox and top of their minds. And it's weird. Not weird. It's interesting. They ask us to do this because they don't want to forget about us. So it was just fascinating to me. Yep. So last week we sent out a note telling our agency partners about a new system that we put into place here at Backbeat. We changed everything with the way we vet a new sponsor against past our shows, so that we get feedback from our hosts that we can include on proposals.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't want to have, we don't want to pitch a show to a sponsor where the show is not eager to have that sponsor. And we especially want to pitch shows that are eager. And so we've developed this whole vetting system. It's already changed things for us, and it's just going to get better as time goes on because of this data that we're massing up internally here, so we can be more efficient. And so we told people, hey, we're nerdy here. We developed this thing. You've already seen the benefits of it. We wanted to tell you because we're excited. And also, hey, if you have any ideas about things we could develop, let us know. But the ideas don't have to come from in-house,
Yeah, I like it.
And we got a note back from someone who's been in the business in the racket, if you will, for a long time. And he said something to the effect of, if you could find a way to to show marketers that an ad is working, that would just be a game changer for you. And I mean, this is a super obvious thing. And I've distilled down what he said. But that's essentially what he was saying, was like, if you can find a better way to tell marketers this. And I was like, okay, well, we were talking about it in our staff meeting. And I was like, it's nice that he says this. He's asking the age-old question. I know my advertising works. Which half, which you don't know. And we routinely try things over and over and over again to prove that. And, we've got different attribution stuff in the podcast world that works here. And there's attribution stuff on the web. And then there's what we call direct response. We've seen them. There's a reason that we all still get Valpak mailers sent to us.
Absolutely.
We throw away, if there's 30 in there, we throw away 29 of them, and you grab one and you use it and you use a little coupon code on there. And then, they report that coupon code, and then Valpak makes money the next year because those people want to renew.
Come back,
and right. It's how it works. And that's why you get Shopify.com/businessbrain, right? That is direct response. It is Valpak. It's amazing to me that people in their 20s even have a clue as to what Valpak is. Right. Like, this predates me. But so we were talking about this, and I'm like, okay, well, they want something better than DR, direct response DR. And like, I think it's still the gold standard for a reason. Like, we're not going to get anything better. Yeah. And whether that's true or not, it's true for the purposes of this conversation. And I thought, well, wait a minute, guys. And I said this to the staff as it was kind of bubbling in my head. I'm like, we don't need to create something or come up with an idea that is better than direct response. We just need to create something that is different so that we can add it to what people already could get with direct response.
It doesn't have to be better, but it has to be additive.
It has to be additive. That's it. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. Let's set the bar low. I challenged our staff with this, me included. Let's come up with an idea that we know is going to be worse than direct response. Right? Set the bar there. Like, forget perfect. There is no perfect with this until we put chips in people's brains that we give everyone access to, which I hope that day doesn't come. We might put chips in our brains, but hopefully not everybody has access to the data that comes from it. But, let's just come up with something else. That's really all that we need. And if we are able to do that, it will change the industry. Because people will want to test it because it's new and shiny, even though we know it sucks. And I would market it by saying, we're pretty sure that this isn't as good as direct response, but it's different. And we think
you want to try it
you might want to have some fun trying it out.
Yeah,
so I already know how to market it. I already know everything. I mean, we would tweak the messaging, obviously. But like we just need to come up with the idea. And that's not going to be easy. Because everything that's been conceived is worse than direct response.
Yes,
and direct response is also bad. Like it's the best we have, but it's not good. It's terrible.
Yeah. It reminds me of when I owned an Apple repair business and we were repairing MacBooks and MacBook Pros and everything, and Apple put a glass cover on every screen.
Yeah, good for business for you.
Yeah, great for business for us. But what happened is that, you could buy glass all over, right?
Right.
It was just like a commodity. So our glass, we knew that the glass we used, it wasn't as good. It wasn't better than Apple's glass, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously, right? We're
obviously
they're multi-billion, gazillion, $1 trillion business, and we'd hope their glass still broke, right? People still broke it. So we positioned our glass to just be better than everyone else's.
There you go.
It wasn't that and we called it diamond glass, and we had videos of dropping things on it to show that it wouldn't break. And then we had some other cheap glass that somebody else sold. We didn't say who it was, but we just like, here's our competitor glass. So, it might be that, it's not the best, but you couldn't get the Apple glass. You had to spend $1,000 or $1,200 to get a entirely new screen, where you could come to us and spend $400 and get a new piece of glass or whatever it was at the time. I have no idea. Remember? So that's interesting.
I really think this is the key to a lot of innovation to unlocking innovation in our businesses, is not waiting until you come up with something that's better than what everybody else has done. It just needs to be different, and then go with it. Along the path, you might take some left turns. You might be like, wait, this is a dumb idea. Well, yeah, we knew that going in. That's okay. We gave ourselves permission to have a dumb idea and to spend some money implementing it. Great. Now we can tweak and do it, and you do something different. I mean, if it's objectively horrible, maybe don't roll it out. But there's a big gap between objectively horrible and good enough to have some fun with. And I think there's power there. All right, folks, if you're grinding to build your business, you need our sponsor, Shopify, in your corner. I use Shopify for my other businesses and one of my other podcasts, and candidly, it's the MVP of selling online. I'm talking seamless setup, built-in payment processing, and the kind of automation that lets you focus on growing, not just managing. It doesn't matter if you're selling merch, memberships, or a revolutionary new product. Shopify handles it all, from checkout to shipping, with the best conversion tools in the game. And Shop Pay, it's like a secret weapon, turning Windows shoppers into paying customers up to 50% more often. That means more ka-ching moments. You got that right. If Shopify could do my taxes, I'd probably let it. But for now, it just runs my businesses flawlessly. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that I use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. Shannon, you know what day it is, don't you?
It's Friday Eye.
It is Friday Eye. You got that right, man. Yep. I love it. I have something. Do you have something?
I do. I want to, okay. So actually, I want to talk workflow with the AI, because I use it when we produce this show. Okay.
Great.
But there's a step, it's kind of backwards. So I want to get your feedback, and I'll also give a little behind the scenes to our listeners of how things work. So after the show, I take, you've created the post and everything, and I go up and I create some images for the episode, right? The artwork. I use ChatGPT to help me do that. And then we use a service called Auphonic, and we come up with a title. It does everything, produces all this crazy stuff in the background, creates the MP3 file, creates the transcript, also does a summary. And then I take it doesn't do a summary. It takes a transcript. I don't know why it doesn't do summary anymore. It used to.
Yeah, fair.
I put the transcript into ChatGPT, helps me create a quick summary. What I really want is that summary before I create the image.
Yep.
Because sometimes it's a day later, and I'm like, yeah, I know what we talked about, but what were the key points? That's why I'm always a stickler on, hey, what's the title of this show, or what are we talking about? So I can get into my head, what should this image look like?
All right.
Tell me the answer.
Yeah, well, you're going to be mad at me, maybe, because we have that tool. We use it for my other two podcasts, and we're about to start using it here for this.
Right. Damn right.
Good. But here's the part that you're going to be bummed about, is that Sadie's already using it for this show, and it's a tool called FlowSend. And what we do is upload the audio file to FlowSend. It creates a transcript. We assign names to it. So I gotta assign the names the right way and do that. And then once you assign names, you have it create the content. And so,
okay,
go ahead.
How do I get the MP3 file? That's what I need. Without doing the auphonic first. See, I want the summry to help me create the imagery.
I mean, we have an audio file, like we're recording it right now.
Yes.
I just need to send you that. Or more simply, I just need to upload the file to FlowSend so that you can take it from there.
Let's try that. That would be great. And then I can come back and talk about FlowSend and what I learned. And
yes,
that's great.
Because what's cool about FlowSend is it's all using AI and it's all stuff you could do on your own, but it's a series of pre-built prompts, some of which they've built, some of which we've built. So it's totally customizable, right? And so they
definitely want that.
The image creation from them image creation is not something we've been able to make work with their system yet. Sure. But I see it coming. I mean, there's no reason why not.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
that will help a pretty good tremendously.
Thing.
That is what I have for today. I do have another tool that I use, but I'm going to save it for next week. Because I know you have something to talk about.
Well, I get frustrated when people don't see the world exactly the way I want them to. I know.
Yeah.
And nowhere these days is that more apparent than it is with AI. And I'm specifically talking about folks who are super resistant to using it. And it's super frustrating for me when I have to interface with these people and work with these people. Like I had an issue this weekend where one of my business partners actually texted we have a Slack chat or whatever.
Sure.
And he was like, hey, somebody is asking about this one new policy thing and is it related to us? He's like, I read through it, but I don't think it is. But what do you guys think? And it was something I'd never heard of. I had no knowledge of it. So when I have no knowledge of something and I want to research it, I ask ChatGPT. I say, hey, I'm in, this particular business. A user is asking about this thing. What is I generally don't lead it. I've found if I lead it, it wants to agree with me sometimes.
Okay.
So I just say, what do you think? And show me your reasoning, and it will. And this one business partner is he was especially initially very emotionally against all the large language models because of how the data was collected and all that stuff. This particular box of Pandora's will not close.
Yes,
so you kind of have to, it's out there. You can either choose as an entrepreneur to use it or not. And really the choice you're making is, do I want to give my competition the advantage of using this over me?
Thank you for saying that, because that is
that is the choice we each are making. My competition also has access to this tool. We don't get to just keep it. It's not, proprietary.
Yep. So
it's, do I want to give my competition this leg up or not? And I do not. And so he's still resistant on that front, even though we've made a decision internally that it's okay and we're going to use this because, by golly, otherwise we'd be out of business.
Yep.
And so all I did was I took the thing that he wrote in our Slack. I went into ChatGPT, I copy, paste, and I articulated which business it was for because that was assumed in the Slack chat, not assumed because I work with so many businesses that I have in ChatGPT. So told it for this business, I pasted it in, I let it give a response. I copied the share link for that and pasted it in. And I said, here is a teach a man to fish moment, and here's what this response is going to look like. I did this because I have no knowledge of the thing you're asking about. So here we are.
Yeah. That's good. I like it.
And I don't know how else I have another friend that I used to work with a lot. I don't anymore. And he tried ChatGPT the first day it came out, or, early on, maybe not the first day. And told it, or asked it, tell me about me, essentially a vanity search. And it got a lot of things wrong. And I'm like, okay, great. You found a bad use case for ChatGPT, and then you stopped. Like, here's the thing. I would never use ChatGPT for that. Yeah. Here's the things I use it for. If you want to use it for that, why? What's the end product supposed to be? Let's say it's a bio. Okay, you want to write a bio. That's a reason to have it do vanity searches for you. First of all, the difference between ChatGPT on the first month and in its, now 30th month or something. Now it can actually search the web, so it's not stuck with a fixed data set, finite data set. And so I said, instead, use this query. And I said, I want to write a bio for myself. Put your name in. I want to collaborate on it with you using Canvas. Mm-hmm. Right? So please start this, and then we can work on it together. And that's the query I gave him. And he didn't use it. He just did another straight up tell me about myself. And it was like, it got everything right, except it said he had passed away.
That's a little
I'm like, well, my answer to that is, what this means is you're not popular enough to have enough data on the internet about you. I didn't say that to him because that comes across as mean, but that's all you're proving is that there's not enough data on the internet for this engine to get you right. But that's it. Yeah. So, okay, but it's also a really bad use of the engine. Taking the audio from a podcast and creating titles about the show from that. Much better use case.
I want to do it, and maybe this will be a topic for next week, is I want to talk about this idea of stopping after the first failure that you mentioned, because it's not
just about AI. Yeah.
No, it's life and everything. And I had an instance of this, and I see it all the time. Someone coming up and saying, that doesn't work. I tried it, and it failed this way. Yep. And so I want to break this whole concept down and talk about how to overcome that feeling if you have it, and how to respond to other people that try to paint you with that concept, because it's garbage.
It's garbage. It's garbage. Such why. Yeah. Well, I will save my thoughts.
We're gonna because I have a lot to say about this, because I've seen it destroy a lot, so many opportunities. So
I've seen it destroy people's lives if it's the way it's your default way of thinking. My goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Let's dig into this next week. We'll help. We promise. We promise.
Yep.
Feedback at businessbrain.show. Keep living that charmed life, and businessbrain.show/review. Get yourself on that list to win a MacBook. See you next week. Have a great weekend. And we're out. Great.
Terrific. Awesome. That was great. I got to see if I talked about napkin.ai last time. If not, or before, that'll be next week. Great. All right. I'm going to end the live stream. If you listened and hung out with us today, thank you very much. These episodes will come out on the 19th. The first one we recorded earlier, and the one we just recorded now is going to come out on the 21st, on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your week, and thanks for hanging out. Take care, everybody.
Later.